With the use of AI, with the use of OpenClaw, with the use of Codex, with the use of Claude Code, you don't need a development team. You don't need a marketing team. Um, you basically build and ship your product in 15 minutes or 15 hours and get customers directly. And you can have agents do customer support.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
What that really means, because they will come to you and say, look, I have a team, but if this team doesn't have credibility, nobody have credibility in the team, uh how you're gonna sell it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sure. So let's talk about the team. I'm just taking notes here. Uh, so the team is critical if you are in the fundraising process because it demonstrates capability. And the team also demonstrates your ability to network and convince people to join your vision and your mission early when you have no capital, when you have no customers, and when you have no revenue. So it's essentially you're as CEO, you're selling to customers, but you're also selling people to come join your vision. So fundamentally, when we're investing in early stage companies, the team is a critical important as our metric. So who's on the team? What credibility do they have? Have they worked in this space before? Right? I'll give you a good example. So I recently invested in a company called Rewrite, Reright. They're a music publishing platform in Europe and around the world. The founder has instant credibility. He led music licensing for YouTube and Google for 10 years. So he then quit and started a company in that space. So the instant domain expertise. He's a lawyer, he's an MBA, he did it for YouTube for a decade. He understands the problem, the customer, and now is starting a company in that space, right? So the team is critically important. Now, there are many ways to hack the team or to add credibility. So one example is usually for a startup, you have a board of directors. One thing you could also have is a board of advisors. So one way to hack the credibility is to say, for example, you're building a beauty startup, right? You look for a board of advisors, and you look for people who are basically part of your team of advisors who are strong where you're weak. So you may bring on an advisor who did marketing for Marketo. You may bring on an advisor who is really good at fundraising, right? So you bring in advisors. That's a way to augment your team, give your company instant credibility, and for that you give them a percentage of your company, say like a quarter of 1% that they earn over 3 to 4 years, but they have to deliver milestones every quarter to help you achieve that. Another cheat code is to find somebody that exited in your space. So if you're doing a beauty startup, you found somebody that built a beauty startup maybe 3 to 5 years ago and exited, bring them on as a board of advisors, as an advisor. But then the requirement for them is you want them every quarter to introduce you to one of the investors that help fund their company. So it's a cheat code for raising capital, but it's also a way to add instant credibility to your firm because it shows, okay, if this person that exited believes in your company, there must be a there. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I want to ask you the next one, which is related to, like, for example, in these podcasts, uh like with your expertise so early, I think no more than 5 people have come at the earliest stage. Everybody, with a lot of investors have been interviewing this podcast, but they want the company when it's more mature, when it's already selling a million, selling a million, selling a quarter of million, selling and more than that, like scale them more. Why do you think? Because you are like a very rare species that everybody's looking for. And so why do you think there is so many little investors like you on the space? You clearly understand that the risk is huge, but what can we do? Because if there were more people like you, I think more startups uh, will thrive. But the problem is that early stage investors and angel investors, they are very hard to find, and there are not that many of them. Do you know why?
Yeah, I can tell you why, because it takes a long time to make an exit generally, right? So normally it takes 10 to 15 years to have an exit. So that's one. I'd say what I see is people make a little bit of money. They decide to become an angel investor. They'll do one or two deals. They won't make any money from those deals. And they say, this is not working. I'm out, right? In order to have some modicum of success, you have to do probably about 20 to 30 deals, most of which will go to zero. The one that does win will oversee all of them. So that's one. Another reason why I see angel investors not last is the lack of liquidity. So maybe you invest in a few companies, and then in 5 or 10 years, your kids need to go to college. Guess what? There's no liquidity, right? But if you bought Nvidia, you can sell the stock and then fund your kids' college. So people realize there's no liquidity. So I think that's a challenge as well. And I also feel there's a bit of secrecy among angel investors, meaning that they're happy to talk to you about their wins, but they never tell you about how many losses they've had, right? So I think there's a lack of transparency there. But it's difficult to make money in angel investing. There are a lot of easier ways to make money in angel investing. So I think that's why there's so few investors in this space. And also I'll just tie that into, and that's part of the reason why I wrote the book, Bootstrap Started Fun and Playing Book, is that I think many people have been brainwashed that venture capital and angel investors are the only way to build and scale your business, and that's one way. But there are ways to build and scale your business by using customer revenue, by doing pre-orders, pre-sales, by doing crowdfunding, by working your day job and doing this stuff on the side. So there are many other ways to hack not being able to raise venture or angel investing.
Yeah, and I think that is more healthy for the company and for closing the gap. Like for example, someone with your experience that because I love the title of your book. By the way, we're gonna talk more about this. That you look, you are a big blogger of the bootstrap business. Do it with resources that you have. So that gives you an indication that the founder know how to manage resources. Because if he has little resources and can get some sales and get some traction, that will give you an indication. And also, at the beginning, they think they need money, but money is not gonna help them out. It's just gonna be a patch. They think they need it and they're desperate, but I think that more than money at this early stage, what they is priceless for them is your expertise, right? Your process that you have been through, and you can tell them, share, and say, look, I have the money, but let's bootstrap this up to this point, okay? I can guide you. I can be in a board of advisors. You talk about board of advisors. Who better than you to advise them? Okay, they're gonna have way better chance to uh, to succeed, and also the we see more and more family offices jumping into the tech space. I actually speak at the family office investment summit uh, in 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 US regularly, and we had seen like these family offices. They usually property and traditional business, but now they're coming and they're coming heavily investing in tech. However, they're coming with a different mindset. They're coming very close to your mindset. They want to see sales, they want to see growth, they want to see revenue. They are away from this VC mentality. They are more about, okay, if this tech business can give me some indication, because they don't understand. That's the only thing they understand. They understand growth, they understand profit, they understand asset, they understand things like this. So when they see those, they're also happy to invest. But yet, until they don't have bootstrap, but they don't have some results, the family office is not even gonna get closer. So tell us a little bit more what you see in the landscape that has changed in terms of the investors. Now with the use of AI, there are some people saying that okay, that software as a service it had decreased just because of AI. You can now write your own software and things like this. So tell us, what is your view in all this?
Sure. So the question is like, how has the landscape changed? So the landscape has changed dramatically. With the rise of AI, there's there are lots of rumblings and talks about how it's going to mean the decline of SaaS because you can basically create your own SaaS product in AI in 15 minutes. So that's one. It's also democratized knowledge, right? So uh, there's lots of articles about this right now that you're going to see many one-person unicorn companies going forward, right? So with the use of AI, with the use of OpenClaw, with the use of Codex, with the use of Claude Code, you don't need a development team. You don't need a marketing team. Um, you basically build and ship your product in 15 minutes or 15 hours and get customers directly. And you can have agents do customer support. I'll give you a great example. So Jason Lemkin, he's the king of SaaS investing. He puts on the SaaSter conference in San Francisco, in San Jose every year. He's an angel investor and he's also an operator. He's also a VC. He's built and scaled 3 SaaS companies. He recently posted on LinkedIn how he got rid of his sales team and uses AI agents. And an AI agent over a recent weekend closed a 6-figure deal without any human involvement. So that's the future of sales. That's the future of marketing. And AI has completely changed the landscape. I think it's leveled the playing field, right? You don't need, depending on what you're building, but you may not need a huge development team. You may not need a high powered or high expense software engineer. A lot of that stuff can be done in the cloud and with AI. So I think there's a lot of opportunities there, but I think it's really about defining what problem are you solving, and then how can you build it faster and better than everybody else. But I think the opportunities are wide open right now with AI for sure.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.